And rolling.
All right, so I'm here with Sam McGlone and Cliff English, and when we do these interviews with athletes and coaches, we like to focus on learnings and information that athletes can use. You were recently in Kona, and it was an opportunity disguised as a setback because of your injury. Some of the things that you learned, I think, are probably now proprietary and you don't want to publish them for the general public, but what can you share for me, each of you? What did you learn in Kona this year as spectators?
Well, you know, I'm happy to share my secrets. I really don't think there's too many. Anyone that watched the race could see. I think it was really interesting just to see how the race unfolded. The women's was very different than last year. I think last year there was a much bigger group altogether, whereas this year it really just kind of blew apart. And the thing that really hit home for me was seeing how the girls who were up at the front towards the beginning of the race really fell back towards the end of the bike, and then there was a lot of people that were quite far back at the beginning really coming through. And sometimes when you're in the race, you don't really realize all the dynamics of it, and just seeing that shift and seeing how much it can change over the long day was really, really interesting, and it really kind of made the point just you've got to kind of bide your time and you know, stick to your own race plan.
Cliff, what about yourself? Learnings in Kona?
Yeah, it was pretty similar to that with Sam. Like, we were following the women's race as spotters for Ironman Live, so we kind of just saw a little bit of the men's race, but yeah, it was definitely interesting just seeing how it was really blown apart, and pretty much exactly like Sam said, you know, just seeing some of the girls that, you know, might have been, I mean, obviously Chrissy was just doing her thing, and on the day was just, you know, in another world than anyone else, but you know, yeah, just seeing how some of the other girls were working their way up. It's interesting, but it also seems that, you know, the girls that tried to go earlier with Chrissy, you know, I think there's something like psychologically was working out there a little bit too. Like, it just seems, I think, with what she achieved this year, a lot of people were kind of trying to match her, but also didn't believe they could. And I think what seems to happen a little bit with their training group, and I've kind of been getting that impression from them, is that they just know she's here, and I think everyone in that group just knows. I think it's almost probably damaged some of the people in that group to a certain degree, because they just know that, oh, she's here, I can only be there, you know. And so I think coming into the race, all the other girls in that team weren't really going to be a factor, really. It was going to be like Yvonne Van Vlerken, who wasn't in that group, and some of the other people, and like a Sam, if she was there, would have been the ones that, you know, didn't see that on a daily basis. And you know, I think that's, I don't know, that's just my observations, but it just seems to me in talking to some of the girls that that's just where they're like, okay, well, we're all here, so.
Cliff, you've been Sam's coach for 10 years, and this Achilles issue is the first big challenge as far as an injury goes. You said you're always learning about your athletes. What have you learned as a coach with regards to this Achilles? Because athletes are always changing, their bodies are changing.
Yeah, that was a real, yeah, I don't know. I guess we're just kind of trying to figure that one out still to a certain degree. We you know, it'd been on and off, and we really thought we were doing the right thing, you know. And I think what was, and I think we did follow some things that were what we're supposed to have done. It was just one of those trying to find the right specialist for the position, you know. And I think or for Sam, and it just took us a while to find, you know. First, I guess, diagnose it, and then find people that we can consistently get to work on it, you know, and that was a bit challenging.
And Sam, what's the key therapy? Because they call it an Achilles heel for a reason, right?
Yeah,
it's very
exactly.
common, especially with triathletes. So
it's common, and I think it's probably like a symptom of a larger picture. Like my left leg has some imbalance, as we were talking about that sort of thing before, and I think just with the higher mileage, it aggravated it. And I think it's a combination of bike and run. It sort of manifests more on the run, but I think the bike puts it in a position to pull on that Achilles. So right now we're really working on loosening up some back joints, and working on some sciatic nerve stuff and hamstring flexibility, and sort of working its way down to the heel. So we're really approaching it holistically, and I have a great therapist that's helping me out a lot, and I have already seen like a huge improvement, so I think he's on the right track.
thanks a lot for being here today.
Oh, thanks.